That is unanimous. Next item, honors accomplishments, Superintendent and Dr. Carpenter.
We're going to add to, Dr. Carpenter, before you go, we're going to add to the agenda, Mr. Morning, a quick presentation about the school stuff first, and then we'll go right into the detail.
Good evening. I am Michael Molinax. I am the principal here at Blacksburg High School. It is a wonderful place to be. I'm going to give you a little presentation about Blacksburg High School, basically concerning its past, present, and its future. Here at Blacksburg High School, our core values, we believe in relationships, high expectations, and accountability. We believe these are the three core values of any successful adult as they move into the workplace, as they move into college, military. We feel like these are the three values that will make them successful in whatever path that they choose. Blacksburg High School in the past. Blacksburg High School was established in 1926 as Blacksburg Centralized High School, which means we're closing in on the centennial celebration of Blacksburg High School. So soon, we would like to begin to create a celebration for all faculty, students, staff, past and present, to celebrate the impact that Blacksburg High School has had on this community. I see several Blacksburg High School graduates in this auditorium right now, and like me, you know the impact that it has had on you throughout your life. Blacksburg High School to present. Just to celebrate some things that have happened, positive things that's happened for us this year. I know the news is filled with negative things that we hear all the time. There are some names in the board packet, in the packet that I gave you. There are some names in those because some of the information may still be embargoed. I did not want to share that with the public as of yet. But we recently took the pre-ACT and the PSAT. We had 8 students that scored 20 and above on the pre-SAT and 8 students that scored 1,000 or higher on the PSAT. We currently have approximately 60 students that are enrolled in dual enrollment courses, either through SEC or Limestone. As of yesterday, we have approximately 43 seniors that have been accepted into a higher education institution. And we obviously still have this semester to go. We've had 2 students who are recognized as AP Scholars, 1 student who is recognized as an AP Scholar with distinction. We've had 1 student who was chosen to attend the Columbia University Summer Immersion Program, which is a program for select students that are high-value targets for colleges. Our Voice of Democracy winner was Mr. Zach Bergs. We've had 15 students that have received CPR certification through our sports medicine program here at Blacksburg High School. 3 of those students have completed the service hours and the coursework to be completers in the sports medicine program. We've had 7 students that were chosen to participate in the Freightliner internship, where these students will spend some time there learning how to do the different jobs over at Freightliner, and will work themselves, will be taught how to work so that once they graduate, they'll have a job at Freightliner. We do have 1 student who will begin an internship with our town administrator this week. We had our town administrator and our assistant administrator to come in, talk to our students, and after they talked to them, we had 1 young man who became very interested in town administrating. So he's going to pick up that internship. He actually is going to start tomorrow. Teacher recognitions. Christina Thompson is our Teacher of the Year. Janika Miller is our BHS Distinguished Teacher of Literacy. Mr. Will Coggins was selected as the October Administrator Crystal Apple Award winner. And Tamara Randolph is selected as our Support Staff of the Year. Our band, which you'll see here in just a second, had a wonderful season. Some of their accomplishments this year at the Gaffney competition, they were first place overall, first place color guard. Bowling Springs competition, second overall while competing at the 3A level. At the Chesney competition, they were first place in Class 2, first place in Silver Division, Best Performance Silver Division, Best Visual Silver Division, Best Percussion, Best Color Guard. In the Upper State, they placed second overall. State competition, they placed third overall. And we recently had 11 students named to the Limestone College Honors Band. Athletics-wise, our Lady Wildcats are ranked first in the state in 2A basketball. We did have a young lady, Ty Tate, who was a preseason top 5 player in the state of South Carolina for 2A basketball. We had 3 Lady Wildcats that were named preseason All-Region 2, 2A, 5 football players that were selected to the Region 2, 2A All-Region team, and 2 players selected to the Carolina Bowl that was held here recently. Cats giving back. This is the thing that I think I am the most proud of with our students. One of the things that we felt like we needed to do was for our students to begin giving back to this community. Because this community needs it as much as we do. So our HOSA club, our Held Occupation Club, and our GG, our Gifted Girls Club, partnered to collect 55 boxes for Operation Christmas Child and went to the processing center in Charlotte where they volunteered to help organize and ship out some of those boxes for 4 hours. Coach Hammond's class works weekly at IT Ministries to sort through donations that they have. He also collected coats and blankets that were distributed to needy people right before Christmas. We sent 45 students down in the downtown of all art students that painted Christmas or holiday scenes on the downtown businesses. It was voluntary. The businesses volunteered to allow us to do it. I hope some of you who live in Whitesburg had a chance to go through and see them because the kids thoroughly enjoyed it. The businesses thoroughly enjoyed it. They've asked us to do it again, and it was just a great experience for all. Our softball team sponsored 2 children for Christmas to make sure that they had Christmas. Our BHS Boys Club planted daffodils all around campus in memory of cancer patients. And our BHS Boys Club also sponsored a young child for Christmas. These are some of the pictures of our HOSA GG girls that were serving at the Samaritan's Purse facility, the Operation Christmas Child, where they're organizing and sorting boxes. These are some of our students who went into town and painted the different things on the windows. So where does the future lead us? So for us, the one thing that we're going to try to do is we're going to try to continue to create student awareness so that our guidance and CDFs are now beginning to tailor personalized visits to colleges and trips that are related to individual student interests or skills. In an effort to try to create competitiveness in the local and global arena, we're attempting to look to possibly try to add German as a foreign language. As you know, with BMW, Daimler, and all these areas, we feel like it may give our kids a leg up. We have developed and are working with a school leadership team. Its members have been elected by their peers. The effort is to try to create a collective leadership environment. Our Cats Giving Back, like I told you, that is my biggest pride right now. That is something that we will continue to do. And right now we have 2 projects that are currently in the works. One of them will almost be kind of like a scavenger hunt for children around town, complete with a book similar to Mice on Main and Greenville. So we are very excited about those things. But the big thing we also want to do is turn those relationships into positive relationships with our community members and our local business members. It is big that our children invest in this community because this community is going to invest in them. And if there's anything that we can do for you here at Blacksburg, please do not hesitate. We're glad to be here, glad to help you, and our door is always open.
Mr. Molnax, if you and Mr. Coggins could kind of stand by the steps just
That worries me, people going down just in case. You two are there to kind of help out. Appreciate it. And then if you're being awarded and recognized, if you want to come through the side door over here and up the steps, and then we'll go down that way. Thank you.
Good evening. Our first recognition is for the Blacksburg High School Band this evening. On October 23rd, the Wildcat Band competed in the South Carolina Band Directors Association 1A Upper State Championship held in Belton. 9 bands competed to fill 7 spots that would qualify that band to compete in the SCBDA 1A State Marching Band Championship. At the Upper State Championship, the Wildcat Band placed second to qualify for the state competition. On October 30th, the Wildcat Band competed in the SCBDA 1A State Marching Band Championship held in Batesburg, Leesville. 14 bands competed for the State Marching Band Championship. At the State Marching Band Championship, the Wildcat Band placed 3rd overall behind the Upper State first place and the Lower State first place bands with a score of 81.4. Less than 3 points behind the first place band. Congratulations to the Wildcat Band.
You get everybody?
I'm good.
Careful. That way. Come on, Mr. Rick.
Good job. Thank you.
The South Carolina Junior Scholars Program identifies students in 8th grade who have exceptional academic talent. These students are selected based on their performance on the PSAT, which is given in October. South Carolina Junior Scholar qualifications are those eligible who score a 550 or higher on the evidence-based reading and writing portion of the PSAT, or they score a 530 or higher on the mathematics portion of the PSAT. We are thrilled that here in Cherokee County School District, this year we have a total number of 14 junior scholars. Not all of them could be here tonight, but we want to certainly celebrate those who could be. So when you guys come forward, if y'all please stay on this stage as well so we can get a group photo of you. So congratulations to Clara DeLeon Shea, Ethan Ferris, Reuben Harding, Ethan Harvey. Nora Hobbs. Tracy Jeffries. Mason Mabe. Tyler Moore. Shana Patel. Sadie Phillips. Avery Sisk. Brady Smith. Logan Sumner. Leela Teal. Stella Tucker. And Braden Wilkins. Congratulations, kids, on your outstanding achievement. When you exit today in the cafeteria, we have a yard sign for you, and we hope you will pick one of those up in the yard stake so you can proudly show off your accomplishment. Congratulations again.
I'll give them the shift, so it's supposed to have some of the pictures.
Y'all want to shift down this way a little bit? And maybe let's take half of you and come in the front, maybe take a minute if you don't mind, take a minute. Tighter for the bishop. Thank you. Parents, if you need to get up, feel free. I think that's it.
Next, we will recognize our December Crystal Apple Award winners. In the substitute teacher category, our winner is Ms. Barbara White. Barbara White is the epitome of a substitute teacher. She surpasses expectations of covering all plans left and also exhibits strong classroom management. She leads by example and has a gift for loving others, including the students she serves. She makes us all want to be a better person. Congratulations, Ms. White. Is Ms. White here this evening? All right, we'll make sure she gets that award. In the support staff category, our winner is Ms. Nancy Price from the Curriculum and Instruction Department. Ms. Price really is the go-to person for curriculum and instruction. Her knowledge is incredible, but her skill set is even better. There's never a task too large or too difficult that she will not tackle. The best part is she approaches every task with the most enthusiastic and pleasant attitude. She is a joy to be around, and her spirit makes her hardest job easy. Congratulations, Miss Price. Would you come on up? Yeah. In the certified category, our winner is Miss Mary McDaniel from Gaffney High School. Mary has been a teacher in the Student Services Department at Gaffney High School for 20 plus years. During this time, Mary has always gone above and beyond to make sure her students are taken care of. She is also willing to do whatever is asked of her. She is a huge asset to Gaffney High School and a staple for Gaffney High School Student Services Department. She deserves to be recognized for her hard work. Congratulations, Ms. McDaniel. And finally, in the administrative category, our winner this month was Julie Foster, assistant principal at BD Lee. During my first year as a teacher, Ms. Foster was also transitioning to her new role in the Early Learning Center at BD Lee. She told us then that she would learn with us and we would make it through together. She is always willing to listen and give a helping hand or have suggestions if we have a problem. She is more than an AP. Congratulations, Ms. Foster. Our next award is from the University of South Carolina Manuscript for publication in the South Carolina English Teacher. Recently, an article submitted by Ms. Christy Camp entitled, "In Their Words, Listening to the Voices of Bilingual Women in the English Classroom" was approved for publication in the South Carolina English Teacher, which is the journal for the South Carolina Council of Teachers of English. The article is about two of our high-achieving multilingual students. In addition, she will also be presenting at their conference at the end of January concerning her research in outdoor education and its effects on literacy. Congratulations, Ms. Camp.
Oh, I got so sorry. Thank you.
Our final award this evening is a doctoral degree recognition. Dr. Sarita Green earned her Bachelor of Science degree in Mathematics from Winthrop University in 2002. She also earned her Master's of Arts in School Leadership from Gardner-Webb University in 2009. Most recently, Dr. Green attended Liberty University from May of 2019 through December of 2021, where she earned her Doctor of Education degree in Curriculum and Instruction. To earn this honor, Dr. Green had successfully completed an Action Research Capstone Project. Her capstone project focused on how to improve the lack of college and career readiness for high school students. She successfully defended her project on November 18, 2021, and earned her degree, which was conferred on December 15, 2021. Congratulations, Dr. Green.
We also had an item there for board appreciation month for Mr. Surratt, and he wasn't able to be here tonight, so we're going to put that on the next agenda for him. The next item on the agenda will be policy BCBI, public participation. Dr. Cole.
No one has signed up to participate.
Next item on the agenda is the review of the audit by Mr. Ben Kokenauer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and distinguished members of the board. I appreciate the opportunity to share this time with you, and appreciate the work that you folks do in this community, and as we've seen this evening. My name is Ben Kokenauer, and I'm the lead partner and auditor for the Cherokee County School District. We have completed our audit examination of the financial statements of the Cherokee County School District for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2021. We are required to do three things in this audit. We're required to design our audit to detect material misstatement of the financial statements for whatever reason, intentional, unintentional, mistakes, fraud, so on. We have done that. We're required to express an opinion on your financial statements, and we have. And we're required to report to governance, which we are doing this evening. Our audit begins when we finish the prior year, and so we begin designing and constructing the audit for the new year, planning the nature, the extent, and the timing of our procedures. We come in and then after that and do our risk assessment, where we look at all of your processes and procedures and update our understanding of your internal control environment and so on. And then we perform our audit procedures that we determine after we do that risk assessment. The results of our audit are, we have issued our unmodified opinion, used to be unqualified, they call it differently now. Unmodified opinion on your financial statements, an unmodified opinion on compliance with federal requirements on all the federal money you receive, and an unmodified opinion on your on your schedule of expenditures of federal awards, which is all the federal money, about $14.5 million that comes in that you spend, and then also on your procurement audit, an unmodified opinion on compliance with your procurement policies and procedures, which include the state procurement policies. So that's all the good news, and actually this year, and for the past couple of years, our audit has focused very heavily on internal control, and there's a serious reason for that, and also on IT. And we look very closely at that. The school district in this most recent past year and the year that you're in now is the recipient of quite a bit of federal dollars, and with these new dollars, Congress has asked us as your auditors to look very carefully at how you have been transparent with the public on how that money has been spent. It shows up on your website, and that's important. So we really audit, they ask us to audit that, to determine that that's been done. The other thing they've asked us to do, very specifically and deliberately, is to look at internal control and how it is evidenced with respect to every single disbursement that is made with this federal money. It's almost forensic in nature. So this federal money has been a blessing to the district and to many places, districts around the country. It also has placed a huge burden on your folks on how to administer that. That has been a moving target throughout the year. And the audit has been a very strenuous process on that money as well. And so your folks did a great job of handling that, and we didn't have any findings related to that. Your financial statements are a pretty comprehensive document. They open up with our report, which is the only thing in there that's ours, and our opinion. And then you have management's discussion and analysis. You have the financial statements themselves with, you actually have 3 separate financial presentations in your statements. You have a government-wide, full accrual set of statements. You might say a balance sheet and a profit and loss. And then you have what we call the governmental or funded statements, the old-fashioned governmental statements. And you have reconciliations between those 2 sets of statements. And then in the back, we'll refer to it again, you have a budget actual report, which is another, because you pass a legal budget, you show the general public how you complied with that law of your budget ordinance. So you have the financial statements, and you have the note disclosures, and they are voluminous. And after those, so there's more words than numbers, you have required supplemental information, which has to do with your pension, liability, and how much money you paid in on that, and your other post-employment benefits, neither of which you have any control over, but they're in there as an overlay. And then you have some other supplemental information in here, your combining statements of special revenue, debt service, capital projects, enterprise, which is your food service, and then the special revenue pupil activity funds. Now, and then you have the single audit section in the back, which has the reports and the schedule of expenditures of federal awards. So there's a lot of information in this, and there's actually 3 separate financial presentations in your financial statements. So you not only keep 2 sets of books, you keep 3, okay, if anybody asks. But you will see in these financial statements that when you look at the budget actual on page 80, that you provided a balanced budget, which is South Carolina law, but you also stayed within your budget appropriation, which is also law. And so that's good news. You'll see that you added almost $2.8 million to your property, plant, and equipment, a little less than $3 million, and you reduced debt overall by approximately $3.1 million. Okay, so you also, when you look through this, you will see that a little over $133 million was expended by the district in departments, various funds and activities throughout this year. And then you'll see that back on in the later part of the statements. And of that, 14.6 million was federal money, and those dollars will probably be more in the current year because you didn't spend all the money that they gave you. You will see in your financial statements a change in accounting principle. GASB 84 has been looking at fiduciary funds, monies that you take on. Typically it's your people activity funds, and they have looked at them long and hard, and they've decided to redefine them as special revenue funds. And so you will see you'll see an adjustment, a reclassification of your pupil activity funds that are now being shown as special revenue funds. And that's going to be a little bit different in there. You'll also see a prior period adjustment in there, which is some reclassification of some expenditures from pupil activity to the general fund. So we received in our audit no pushback from management. They have been very cooperative and transparent with us. I would be proud to tell you if they gave us a hard time, but they don't. Because that would affect me and my risk, and I would be glad to tell you in front of them. But they have been very cooperative with us. They always are, and they show us what we need. They give us what we need to look at, and it cuts the risk down. So we got no pushback from them. We did help along the way with some year-end accounting. We helped with some of the financial statement issues, the GASBs, that get pretty involved and pretty complicated. And so we did, in all of that, management was able to take and accept responsibility for everything we did. It was an issue of time. And so it all came together. It got to the state on time, and and we're all pleased with that. A lot of applause tonight for a lot of things that have been accomplished by these students and teachers, and it's a point of pride. When we leave the building, when our audit's done, there is no applause. There's just a sigh of relief. I'm sure they say, "Yeah, we're glad to get them out of here, and they're using up all of our air conditioning." But anyway, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them. Unmodified opinions on everything, and we appreciate your trust and your confidence and the cooperation we've received. You've got good people at the district that care. We appreciate that, and we appreciate your interest in this audit process. And I work for you, so thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Mr. Copenhagen?
I do. Sir, I'm reading the related party transactions. It is noted, it appears that the school district is not maintaining a file for business done with companies that board members own. It appears that there is no declaration of such transaction by board members. Can you explain that a little bit more in depth and give us some specifics?
That is a preliminary document right there, and that particular finding has been deleted because we went back and looked, and that is not true. You're talking about related party?
Transaction.
Yeah. That is a preliminary document that a management type letter. So basically, what that speaks to is related parties would be you folks.
I understand that.
Yeah. And so that is not, that was deleted before, and it really hasn't been issued yet. It's still a work in process.
Okay.
That particular document, yes.
So it's still a question mark, or just should?
No, we've determined that particular issue is not a finding at all.
Okay, so you need to retract that particular?
Yes. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Copeland.
Next item on the agenda is board policy review. Dr. Carpenter.
Well, Dr. Carter is getting up. This is in reference to our COVID administrative rule that we currently expired, so we're renewing that. We're going to extend it out till June 30, 2022. But we do not plan to go past that date. Many districts did not offer this school year. We chose to do it because we've seen a need for our employees. Moving forward though, whether COVID's around or not, it's going to be treated more like the flu, and that's how we'll deal with it moving forward. So just wanted to give you all that piece of information. Also, I'm sure Dr. Carpenter will talk about the way the DHEC guidelines have changed to the 5 days. We changed those days as well. So, Dr. Carpenter.
Good evening again. You should have a revised copy of GCC/GDC-R2, amended COVID-19 related leave, professional and support staff. This is our new administrative rule. As Dr. Fall has already mentioned, we have two main revisions of this administrative rule. The district has graciously allowed us to extend our leave out until June 30th, 2022. So essentially, we're adding a few more months onto our current policy. The last one expired on December 30th while we were out for the holiday break. This is our first opportunity to address the administrative rule. In addition, in accordance with the new COVID leave guidelines, we're reducing our COVID leave days from 10 to 5, and that information is reflected in this administrative rule. Before, everything that said 10 days or 2 weeks is now 5 days and 1 week per the new guidelines. If you have any questions, either me or Ms. Westmoreland can address those questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, 2022-2023 academic school calendar review.
Dr. Rose is going to go over the work that they did on the calendar. And then we also have the 23-24 as well with a special speaker for that.
Thank you. I hope you have before you the 22-23 draft calendar. This is a traditional calendar. There's not many things that are abnormally different than what we normally do in our calendar. As you guys are aware, the legislature does not allow us to begin school until the third Monday of August, so we would begin school on August 15th. And just two major differences in this calendar that you'll see from previous calendars. The first is you'll notice flex days for a couple of our in-service days. That gives an opportunity to allow teachers to do some of the work that they normally do on their own after school, and then they would take those days off as flex days instead of working on those days. The other difference is our winter holidays. Normally, we allow basically 3 weekends for the winter holidays, but it did not work out that way in order to get 85 days in first semester. So we do have on this calendar that students and staff would attend on December 19th and 20th. We did communicate with the Spartanburg school districts to see when their spring break was, because we wanted to make sure that aligned since we share students and staff with those. Some staff members have students in Spartanburg and vice versa, so we wanted to make sure that we did that as much as possible. And then it has us ending school on the 25th of May before the Memorial Day holiday.
Any questions for Dr. Rose in reference to the calendar committee's recommendation for the school calendar?
Okay, so I'm going to move forward with the 23-24 discussion. For some time, our school district has been discussing the idea of a modified calendar. Some of the benefits of modified calendar, which currently we have 4 school districts that are in South Carolina that are moving towards the modified calendar next school year. But those benefits are reducing burnout for teachers, preventing the summer slide with less time off during the summer, offering extra academic support during the school year rather than just during the summer months. Enrichment activities are definitely those things. When we talked to the Greenwood School District that's been doing it now for 2 years. And so the calendar committee looked at what would a modified calendar look like. We gave you a draft version of what it could possibly look like. There's another version that would also add an additional week at the winter holidays as well. And you'll notice in the October, the possible January, and then April, there's 2 weeks off at those times. One of those weeks could be used as enrichment period for students who are falling behind. So there's lots of advantages to a modified calendar, and we want to explore that opportunity by surveying our staff, our parents, having discussions with our community members, and having discussions with other school districts who have already gone down that road to explore the pitfalls and the benefits and see if that is something our school district would like to explore for the next school year.
Just to be clear, the 23-24 calendar is for information only. We still plan on having many more discussions. As I said about 2 years ago or so when we started this discussion, that if we did change, that we would try to make it a year in advance. So that's why we're starting those informational topics now for you all to start considering. That way, if we did make that transition to a modified calendar, there'd be ample time for everyone involved for planning. We'll also, like Dr. Rose said, be doing surveys and other work that's going to be collecting data to see where our folks are with it. And I was super excited when I got an email from a group of teachers that reached out to me. I always preach that I have an open door and always try to encourage staff and anybody for that matter to call me, to come by, to email me, whatever the case may be. So I was super excited when a group of teachers reached out to me, and I guess Mr. DeBoard was nominated as the spokesperson for the group, so he came tonight to speak a little bit on the modified calendar, just so that you guys could hear from one of our educators speaking for several of the educators. So I'll turn it over to him now.
Thank you for giving me a few moments here. As Dr. Rose spoke about and Dr. Paul mentioned, we did meet back in 2019, pre-COVID, as I call it a lot, and had all these plans moving towards a year-round or modified calendar, and then all they got put on hold like a lot of other things with COVID. And then a few weeks ago, some of us started talking around Gaffney High School and among other schools, like, oh, what's going on? And I got volunteered to email Dr. Paul. So fast forward a little bit, and we had a mixed meeting, some in person, some virtual on Teams, and discussed what had been discussed back in 2019, early 2020, with the modified calendar. So in that time, I've gathered some, and I've got a copy for everybody up there. I didn't know to bring it up there, but comments from the Greenwood School District, some teachers and principals that work up there, that work down there, and some teachers from Gaffney High and other schools, custodians, and some comments from students. That was a group that when we were originally talking, we didn't talk about seeking their opinions that much. It was students. We talked about parents, we talked about teachers, of course, and other personnel in the school district, but it was students. So there's some student comments in there as well, and most of those, I'll admit, are my students, but I didn't guide their responses in any way. I just kind of told them this is what's being looked at. They are seniors, so I told them to just pretend that they were going to be a senior next year. They're going to finish their school year, so how would they like to be on this type schedule? I gave them some data to look at, and without any guiding by me, they voiced some of the same concerns that we hear a lot from teachers and parents about burnout and retention and catching up for students that are behind and things like that. So to me, that shows there's a real need for this type of schedule, especially now of all times, since COVID's really put us behind a couple of years in a lot of ways, especially for a lot of students. So I hope this helps. I know I speak for a lot of teachers and others in the district. We're in support of this type of schedule. I know there's going to be critics of it along the way, but I hope this helps you out a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you. Like I said a few minutes ago, the 23-24 calendar is simply informational right now. We do plan on having more discussions and workshops, etc., and you all will get that information as we do those as well, surveys, whatever the case may be. But the main focus for the calendar tonight is the 22-23 academic calendar draft. So that is the only thing that you guys have to take any action on tonight.
Any questions on the 23-24 modified calendar before we move on? With either Dr. Rose or the board?
I just have a quick question, and I looked at it as part of our packet, and the way it looks to me is that it's not a true, it doesn't seem to be a true year-round calendar. It is more of a modified calendar. I mean, you're moving 1 week, I guess, up, and then 3 weeks throughout the year. So, I mean, you do have shorter breaks, but it's not really that big of a difference. It doesn't seem to me as though it's what we think of as a traditional year-round calendar. So I appreciate that modified calendar description.
In a traditional year-round calendar, you usually have 9 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and so it really does go all year long.
Right.
The only difference in the draft copy that we got in Greenwood District 50 and the Corning County is the 3 weeks at Christmas is something we did the day we talked about here. But it does provide those breaks within the school year to provide additional to the students rather than always in the summertime.
Okay. And what are the other 2 districts that are considering?
Aiken County
Okay.
and
Florence one.
yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
There's 2 other ones too off the top of my head. I can't remember.
I think COVID has really made a lot of districts interested in going down that road and a lot of our calendar because it's a different test.
We've seen it in the hybrid schedule. Next to no discipline, teacher burnout was much better. I mean, there's a lot of benefits. Summer slide shortness.
If there's no more questions about that, I do need a motion for the current 2022-23 academic calendar to approve that recommendation from the calendar committee.
Make a motion to approve 2022-2023 calendar.
Motion, Mr. Phillips.
Second.
Second, Ms. Shackelford. All in favor of the 2022-23 calendar? That is unanimous. Next item on the agenda, executive session, personnel matters for the purpose of discussing the employment, discipline, or release of employee or employees for the district slash contractual matters. Do I have a motion for the district executive session? Motion, Mr. Phillips. Second. Second, Dr. Nix. All in favor? That's unanimous. We are now in executive. Executive session for the discussion of personnel matters for the purpose of discussing the employment, discipline, or release of an employee or employees of the district/contractual matters. Do I have a motion to return to regular session? Motion, Dr. Nix.
Second.
Second, Mr. Bailey. All in favor? That is unanimous. Do I have any motion from executive session?
I have a motion from executive session that we uphold the superintendent's recommendation to terminate a classified employee.
We have a motion from Ms. Shackelford to uphold superintendent's recommendation to terminate a classified employee.
I'll second it.
Is that Mr. Blackwell?
I'll second.
Mr. Blackwell. Any discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous. No other actions are needed from executive session. That'll move us to the superintendent's report, COVID-19 update. Dr. Ball?
Ms. Westmoreland is going to give you all a quick run through of the COVID. While she's getting up there and getting prepared, just keep in mind that we, late last night, about 10 o'clock, got some additional updates that will be coming. So we'll be updating our plan even after today as well. So keep an eye out for those on the website. And some of those changes include updated vaccination definitions, quarantine simplification, household close contact clarification, updates to at-home testing guidance, and an addition of an at-home attestation form. Once again, this is brand new information. We're processing it and we'll get it updated to the plan as quickly as possible. Thank you. Ms. Westmoreland.
So quickly going through this, as you can see, and we knew this was going to happen in December, we had a decrease in our positive cases. We only had 52 positive cases in December, and we were only here for a short period of time, and only 342 employees and students that were quarantined. We still saw that September was our peak so far this past year. Another way to see it. Interesting that elementary schools continue to be our largest numbers, and we know why. They tend to congregate a little bit more. And then there's another way for you to be able to see those monthly comparisons so that you can, if you're interested in the data, you can actually dig in and see who was choosing the different isolations, different quarantine timelines. Interesting with the new procedures, there's no longer that 7 days. It's either going to be a 5-day or a 10-day. And then so that you have the information if you're interested to know who we quarantine for what. And I think the question is always, how many people test positive while they're in quarantine? And only 11 of that 370 that we quarantined, so we're right at 21% for the month of December. Any questions about that? All right, I'm going to skim through our COVID plan because it has changed significantly last night. But basically, these big points are, we can now just quarantine for those 5 days. If you're a positive person, but you have to wear a mask days 6 through 10. They have for quarantine for close contacts, though they have changed it to where now there's just a 5 and 10 day option because the point was, why is there really a 7-day option? And depending on when you get tested on that 4th day, you're going to be out longer than 5 days anyway, so they have adjusted that. They're continuing to adjust household close contacts because I think that's kind of the biggest issue as far as number of people that were quarantining the longest are those household close contacts. If you can separate within your home, you won't have to quarantine as long. But when you have little children that you can't quarantine from, you're going to be being quarantined much longer. I'm trying to think of anything that's extra interesting for you that you haven't heard on the news already, or any questions about the plan that we have? Home testing continues to be an issue because of the reliability of the home test and knowing that where it came from. So the standard is still that the home test be done in front of a healthcare provider and that it is identified by that provider. We are continuing to have our testing sites here in the district. They are not being utilized as much as we would like for them to be utilized. We would like for people, if they're sitting home from the school because they're symptomatic, we would love for people to go right then and get tested, so they can get tested and get back to work or get back in school as quickly as possible. But those continue to be out there. Any questions?
The 5-day quarantine, is that 5 days from onset of symptoms or 5 days from the positive test?
If you can safely identify the onset of symptoms, it can be from symptoms. But you also can't have someone say that I tested positive, but my symptoms were 10 days ago. Reliability, that's not real high. So that's when the health professional in the building, which is your school nurse, has to make that determination.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, Ms. Westmoreland, but that report was so comprehensive and thorough. I really appreciated that as part of our packet. I mean, I think the reports have come a long way, and I know that it takes a lot of time for staff to pull that together, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. I think you also, I don't know if Dr. Paul told you the numbers we have right now, that we're at 140. And if you look at December's numbers, that's all we have the entire month. So, I mean, so it's going up right now.
That's 140 positive cases?
I posted 140 today. Well, Ms. Moss will post 140 today. Now, that's rolling numbers. All right.
Thank you, Ms. Westmoreland. Next up is the financial update on budget timeline.
Ms. Morgan is not here tonight, obviously, so I'll just say that you have the 22-23 budget timeline in your packet. If there's any questions about that, I'll be more than glad to answer them.
All right, next item, do I have a motion to approve the superintendent's personnel recommendation?
Motion to approve superintendent personnel recommendation.
Motion, Ms. Dawkins. Second, Mr. Phillips. Any discussion? All in favor of personnel recommendation? That is unanimous. Next item, Mr. Hughes with a facility update.
Mr. Hughes, I just wanted him to quickly give you all an update of where we're at with some of our quick projects, just so that you're aware, so.
On our facility update, the folks have come in and walked all of our buildings now and got the information that they requested from us. So right now, they're in the process of doing their evaluations and estimates are starting. So we have been providing them data, attendance data, other enrollment stuff. So that data has been provided to them, and they promised me that our plan is still on track. So we'll probably have more definitive information for the February meeting from them, but we're still on track with everything there. But everything, all the walkthroughs have been completed. They did all those, so we're kind of the balls in their court as we stand right now. And then on our baseball and softball updates, on the Gaffney side, we're looking at the end of last week of January, 1st of February, to be done with the dugouts, rebuilding there. I don't know if you had a chance to go by there, but it's looking a lot different, a lot better. The field lights are scheduled to be delivered the second week of February, so hopefully by the end of February, we'll be looking at having all that installed and in place. So along with the benches and things are going in at the end of January. So hopefully our target date to have everything is right at the end of February on those items over there. So that's kind of a quick update on that. But any questions on that?
Thank you, Mr. Hughes.
Next item, 11.3, student centered culture, Dr. Rose.
Thank y'all for letting me just share a little bit of news with you tonight. Now I'm probably saying this is y'all put on me, whatever. I know when I presented earlier this school year, some of our data was not my favorite stuff, so I wanted to have some celebration with y'all tonight. We just completed our iReady diagnostic test. We test our children in K through 9th grade 3 times a year. In reading, 57% of our students are making significant growth towards their goals. In math, 58% of our students are making that type of growth. We've seen more than a double-digit growth in students who are own or above grade level. And So got a 12% increase in math and 11 increase in reading. So with that comes a significant decrease then of students who are significantly behind grade level. In reading, we have an 8% decrease of students who are 2 or more years behind in reading. And most impressive, a 14% decrease of students who are 2 years or more behind in math. So we're super excited about that. With I-squared, we have seen a large increase of our enrollment in our courses in I-squared. A lot of that has to do with the development of new programs that we're putting in place, as well as the great job that one of our new programs is actually doing to promote the courses at I-squared. We have increased our work with our work-based learning. Our new career counselors at our high schools are working really hard to establish new partnerships. We've had over 50 new partnerships developed in semester 1. So we have a lot of kids that are doing internships and shadowing that we're thrilled about. We just started just last week a new partnership with Freightliner that we hope to kind of present to you guys about, because it was fantastic and very life-changing for these children that are participating in that. And we're well on our way to having a record-breaking number of completers this year at I-squared. In 2020, we only had 114 completers at I-squared. Last year we had 201, and we're well on our way to having almost 250 completers this year. As you saw tonight, we had a record number of junior scholars. Last year we only had 8 junior scholars, and this year we had 14, so we're super proud of those kids. EOC results, and of course results are still embargoed, so I really can't share all of the data with you just yet, but I can tell you that our algebra and our biology have double-digit gains from where we stood last year, so we're really happy about that. English 2 is right on point, and U.S. history is delayed in getting results back due to some State Department issues this year. But I can't wait to share that with you. I can point many factors on why we are having the success that we're having this year. I think the inclusion of added into all of our classrooms in the district has a big part of that to help towards that individual determination for our students. We have over 100 of our teachers who are working on curriculum writing this year. That is arduous work, and they are doing an incredible job. We are just super proud of our teachers and our students for their tireless work to improve the education of our students. And I just thank you guys for allowing me the chance to brag on our teachers and our students tonight, because they really have done a phenomenal job in semester 1.
Any questions?
Quick question, Dr. Rose, and I think it was just because you were talking too fast, but how many times did you say that the students are tested using already? Is it 3 times a year?
3 times.
Okay. Thank you.
Next item, school board appreciation month, schedule with Dr. Paul.
First, I want to start off, and I'm going to do this as quick as possible. It's an effort of time. I'm not going to bore you all with reading my letter of appreciation to you all. I just passed out a copy to you, and those will also be posted on the website. Along with that as well, we also have a graphic here that says 2022 Celebrating Local Leaders, South Carolina School Board Recognition Month. So that will also be posted on the website. And the governor also did a proclamation, so this I will read real quick because he has more clout than I do. So the governor's proclamation says, whereas education is the foundation upon which the economic, intellectual, and social capital of our state is built, and whereas school boards directly influence instruction in South Carolina's public schools, and whereas the decisions of local school boards affect the present and future lives of children while setting the direction to prepare all students to be competitive in a local, state, national, and global 21st century knowledge economy, and whereas local school board members work with parents, businesses, education professionals, and other community members to represent their views and create the ideal educational vision for their public schools and students. And whereas School Board Recognition Month highlights the unique role school boards play in representing their constituents by promoting and advocating for quality public education. Now therefore I, Henry McMaster, Governor of the great state of South Carolina, do hereby proclaim January 2022 as School Board Recognition Month throughout the state and encourage all South Carolinians to recognize the contributions of local school boards to the academic success of public school students across the Palmetto State. So that's the proclamation from the governor. Also, you should have in your packet the list of the schools that adopted each one of you this year for the school board recognition. That's in your packet. And lastly, I just want to share with you a small token of my appreciation to each one of you. In front of you, you have a book that's called Leaders Eat Last. If you've been around me, whenever there's food, you all know I never eat until last. And this kind of speaks to some of my core values. So I thought it'd be a nice read for you on your own if you get free time and like to read. It's a very good book, so I hope you enjoy that.
Next up to you, announcements, Superintendent. Before that, the statement of economic interest, you all should have gotten that in your packet as well. That has all your instructions of what to do with that, so if you have any questions, there's also places in there that you can reach out to someone and they can get those answered. So you have that in your packet. And don't forget that that is due by March 30th, 2022. Also in your packet, you have the board newsletter. You have a copy of that. So, and then lastly, the announcements. We originally had scheduled a board salary study workshop for January 24th, 2022. We are going to put that on hold for right now until we get some clarity from the State Department on some things that they're working on. There's a lot of talk about teacher pay raises and bus driver pay raises and different things the governor's talking about, changing the way schools are funded. I mean, there's a bunch of different conversations going on right now that deal with finances. So the last thing that we need to do is jump into something without having a clear picture. So for right now, we're going to put that on hold. And that's all I have. Thank you all for everything you do. Thank you. Other matters, Mr. Bailey.
I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Mullinax for showing us the history of Blacksburg High School. That's interesting. And thank everybody for going.
Mr. Blackwell.
Also, thank Mr. Mullinax for inviting us out to hold the meetings here tonight. And the awards and all, probably the Anyway, it was real nice to see so many of those tonight. That's all I want to do.
Thanks to you, Mr. Mullinax, for hosting us tonight, and I was so impressed by the accomplishments of your students, and everybody thinks Blacksburg is such a little small school, but you're doing great things here, and I hope that continues. And to Dr. Rose, I just want to know, when you read those stats out at first reading, I too was a little disappointed, a little depressed about it, but it seems like we're making strides, and I'm looking forward to those numbers coming out this year. Hopefully we're moving the needle a little. And that's what it takes, just a little at a time, making some strides. So hopefully that's what our district is doing, because I want to know that what we're doing is working. And so by what you stated tonight, it seems to be so. Glad to hear some of the numbers that you read tonight. Just keep chucking forward.
Well, I'll sound like Ms. Dawkins echoed, but Dr. Rose, I've been waiting for 2 years to hear the numbers that you reported tonight. And those are significant gains, and everybody that's a part of this district is to be commended for the work that they do every day, particularly during a pandemic. So thank you for that. Thank you to the teachers and the staff and everybody that worked so hard. Thank you to Mr. Mullinax for being such a gracious host tonight. Great things are going on at Blacksburg High School, and thank you to Dr. Paul and your team for all the work that you do.
I just want to commend the housekeeping here. Everything seems immaculate. It appears to be immaculate. I know it didn't just happen overnight, so it takes continuous upkeep. So I commend the housekeeping staff. I know small things like that put on often recognized, but I did recognize the entire facility is clean.
Phillips.
I just want to piggyback on what everybody said. Thank you, Mr. Mullinax, and also I'd like to recognize Mr. Brazee sitting in the back. He's our new bus director. Glad to finally say congratulations in person. And everybody, thanks for coming out tonight. Roll Tide.
I gotta take a roll call. I'm with you, Scott, and both brothers, I'm fine. Thank you, Mr. Mullinax. It's good for everyone to be here. This is my alma mater, so I'm proud to be vice president. Glad to have a meeting here. There are a lot of accomplishments. Young kids here, the students here, they do accomplish a lot. But we did see a lot of accomplishments tonight from all students across the district, and that's great. And seeing progress is very important. It means that the efforts that are being made are showing fruition.
I'd like to echo everything too. Thank you, Mr. Mullinax. It's been good. And also, just for me, it really means a lot to see the growth every time you get that little growth, because we do, you guys at the district office, down to the teacher, to the parents, to us, everybody, when you make a change, or you try something different, or you support something different, or you fund something different, you get so many people that are so ready to watch you fail. And they want to watch you be wrong, and they want to watch it so they can complain. And I think it sells that what we're trying to do to back you guys, what you are doing to back the teachers, and what the teachers are doing to back the kids is working. And I just think that's super important, especially like Ms. Shackler said, this environment, to see the growth with not even a really good year to grow. I mean, it's still not a great year as far as kids being in and out of classes every day and extra kids in classes every day. It's really been a tough year. To see that is just awesome. I want to also just say everybody is working so hard, and a lot of times they feel like we, the district office staff, don't see them, but trust me, we do. This is the stretch of time that everybody dressed from out to spring break, where it's just that time. And just bear with us, try your best. I'm going to leave with my quote, since it's the new year tonight, if I can get it pulled up. You're going Dr. Seuss on you tonight. Since it's a new year, you'll never get bored when you try something new. There's no limit to what you can do. And I would like to see people just do something new, try something new this year. It doesn't have to be professionally. It might just be you pick up a new hobby. Do something new. Get out of the swamp that we're all in with COVID. We've said it again. That word is just, I'm ready to be done with it. I think we all are. Try something new. Do something fun. Do something with your family. Do something with your kids. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion. Motion, Dr. Nick.
Second.
Second, Ms. Dawkins. All in favor?